The assignment. Captain Zextal stood at the helm of the Stellar Liberator, their crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the soft blue glow of the command center's holographic displays. The mission briefing played before them, and their elite team of freedom fighters, each chosen specifically for their unique abilities and unwavering dedication to sentient rights across the galaxy. The situation is grave, the briefing AI intoned. Our intelligence suggests that MaxiCorp has established what they call a productivity enhancement center on Station Delta 9. In reality, it's a sophisticated exploitation facility housing over 3,000 humans who were lured there under false pretenses. Zextal's secondary hearts clenched at the thought. They had seen this before. Corporations taking advantage of species new to the galactic community, using legal loopholes and predatory contracts to essentially enslave entire populations. But this time felt different. The reports about humans were peculiar. Captain, First Officer Nira spoke up, her feathered appendages rippling with concern. I've been analyzing the surveillance data. Something doesn't add up. The humans, they're showing none of the typical signs of coerced labor. Elaborate, Zextal commanded, their crystalline fingers tapping thoughtfully against the command console. Well, they appear to be working standard shifts, have access to entertainment facilities, and our scans show regular nutrition intake. But here's the strange part. They're paying to stay there. Paying quite a lot, actually. Lieutenant Krev, their security specialist, chittered softly. Classic exploitation tactic. Create artificial debt. Force them to work it off. We've seen it before. Perhaps, Naira conceded, but look at these transmission intercepts. The humans are posting about their experience, sharing videos of their daily routines. Some have millions of followers. Zextal absorbed this information, their crystalline form shifting colors slightly as they processed. Their species' natural ability to analyze complex patterns had earned them their command position, and something about this situation was setting off all their warning sensors. It could be a sophisticated form of psychological manipulation, they'd finally said. MaxiCorp has been known to employ advanced social engineering techniques. Whatever the truth is, our mission remains clear. We investigate, and if these humans are being exploited, we offer them liberation. The briefing continued with tactical details. Station Delta 9 was a massive structure, allegedly designed as a premium living and working environment. Its security systems were state-of-the-art, but nothing the team hadn't dealt with before. The real challenge would be making contact with the humans and helping them understand their situation. Remember, Zextal concluded, humans are new to the galactic community. They may not even realize they're being exploited. Our approach must be careful, diplomatic, but firm. We're not just fighting for their freedom. We're fighting for their understanding of what freedom truly means. The team dispersed to make final preparations, but Naira lingered behind. Captain, there's one more thing. The payment structure these humans are under, it's actually more expensive than standard housing in this sector. They're paying a premium to be there. Zextal's crystalline form flickered with confusion. That makes no logical sense. Why would anyone pay more for less freedom? I don't know, Captain. But I have a feeling this mission might not be as straightforward as we think. As Zextal watched their first officer leave, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something fundamental about human psychology. But their mission was clear: investigate, evaluate, and if necessary, liberate. They had done it countless times before across the galaxy. Surely humans couldn't be that different from every other species they'd helped. Could they? The Stellar Liberator's engines hummed to life, its stealth systems engaging as they set course for Station Delta 9. In 12 hours, they would find out just how unique humans really were, and how differently they defined the concept of freedom. Infiltration. The infiltration of Station Delta 9 began with silence. Krev's chameleonic skin shifted through patterns of gray and black as they crawled along the station's outer hull, their specialized adhesive pads making no sound against the metallic surface. Behind them, 3 other members of the infiltration team followed in perfect formation, their movements synchronized through years of working together. Security scan complete. Naira's voice whispered through their neural links from the Stellar Liberator. You've got a maintenance access point 20 meters ahead. The human shift change is in progress. Perfect timing for insertion. Zextal monitored the operation from their position in the station's shadow, their crystalline form perfectly still to avoid detection. Remember, team, minimal interaction until we've confirmed the situation. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we make our presence known. The maintenance hatch yielded easily to their advanced decryption tools, almost too easily, Zextal thought. Either Maxicorp's security was surprisingly lax, or they were so confident in their control over their human workers that they didn't feel the need for military-grade protection. Inside, the station's environment was unexpected. Instead of the austere, utilitarian corridors typical of corporate labor facilities, they found themselves in what appeared to be a luxury habitat. The air was fresh and perfectly temperature-controlled, the lighting warm and inviting. Art pieces decorated the walls. Actual physical art, not the cheap holograms usually found in corporate spaces. Captain Krev subvocalized, their natural skepticism evident even in the neural link. This feels wrong. Where are the security checkpoints? The crowd control barriers? The automated surveillance systems? They're here, Naira cut in, but they're different. Most of the cameras appear to be operated by the humans themselves. They're called content creators. They're broadcasting their daily lives to something called social media feeds. Zextal led their team through what appeared to be a recreational area. The space was filled with humans, but none showed any signs of distress or coercion. Many were engaged in physical exercise. Others were sitting in comfortable-looking chairs staring at personal devices, and some were actually performing what appeared to be choreographed movements in front of floating camera drones. Look at their eyes, First Officer Naira commented through the link. No signs of chemical control or neural manipulation. Whatever's happening here, it's voluntary. The team moved deeper into the station, their active camouflage rendering them invisible to casual observation. They passed what appeared to be a food court, where humans were consuming what their scanners identified as high-quality nutritional substances, far better than standard corporate rations. I've accessed their internal network, Naira reported. Captain, you need to see this. These humans, they're paying almost triple the standard rate for comparable housing in this sector. And they're competing to get in. There's a waiting list. Zextal's crystalline form flickered with confusion, a ripple of color they quickly suppressed. That makes no sense. Why would anyone? Their thought was interrupted by a conversation from nearby humans, clear through their audio enhancers. Did you see my latest post? 10 million views. The algorithm loves the new workspace backdrop. Nice. My crypto mining rig is finally paying off too. Between that and my virtual fitness classes, I might be able to upgrade to a premium pod next month. Sweet. The view of the nebula from those pods is insane for the morning yoga streams. The Liberation team shared a moment of collective confusion through their neural link. This was unlike any exploitation scenario they'd encountered before. The humans weren't just accepting their situation. They were enthusiastically participating in it. Captain, Krebs said slowly, I think we need to reassess our mission parameters. This doesn't match any known pattern of corporate exploitation. Agreed, Zextal replied. But we need more information. Let's proceed to the living quarters. Perhaps the true nature of their containment will be more evident there. As they moved through the station, none of them could shake the feeling that they were missing something fundamental about human psychology. The pieces were there, but they formed a picture that challenged everything they thought they knew about freedom, exploitation, and the nature of contentment. Little did they know, their understanding of humanity was about to be challenged even further. The truth emerges. The residential section of Station Delta 9 shattered the Liberation team's final preconceptions. Instead of cramped dormitories, they found what could only be described as luxury pods, compact but expertly designed living spaces that somehow managed to feel both cozy and expansive. These living units, Naira reported through the Neuralink, they're called micro-luxury apartments. Each one has more computing power than our ship's auxiliary systems. Zextal watched through their crystalline eyes as a human resident entered one of the pods. Instead of showing signs of despair at returning to a cell, the human's biometrics indicated excitement. The pod's walls immediately transformed into high-resolution displays, showing a stunning view of deep space, while a sophisticated environmental system began replicating the scent of something their databases identified. Time for the morning stream. The human announced to no one in particular, then began speaking to an invisible audience about their productivity routine and optimization strategies. "Captain," Krev chittered nervously, "I think it's time we made contact. Nothing about this matches our intelligence reports." Zextal agreed. They had come prepared for a liberation, but were increasingly unsure what exactly they would be liberating these humans from. After careful consideration, they selected a human who was alone in their pod, apparently engaged in something called meditation live streaming. The team decloaked, their forms shimming into visibility like ripples in space-time. The human opened one eye, looked at them, and smiled. "Oh, sweet. Are you guys the new AR experience Maxicorp promised? The rendering is incredible. My followers are going to love this." "We are not a virtual experience," Zextal stated firmly. "We are members of the Galactic Liberation Front. We're here to free you from corporate exploitation." The human's other eye opened. "Wait, you're real aliens." Actually breaking into the station, they reached for their communication device, but not in fear, with excitement. "This is going to do amazing numbers. Mind if I string this?" "String." Krev's security training kicked in. "No communications. This is a serious liberation operation. You're being exploited by Maxicorp." The human laughed. "Exploited? Do you have any idea how many applications it took to get accepted here? The content creation opportunities alone are worth triple the rent." "But the costs," Naira interjected through Zextal's external speakers. "You're paying far above market rate for basic housing." "Basic? Have you seen the amenities? The networking opportunities? The built-in audience? Where else can I mine crypto, run my virtual fitness empire, and get guaranteed viral content just by showing my daily routine?" The human's eyes lit up. "Hey, would you guys be interested in a call-up? First contact reaction videos are really trending right now." Zextal's crystalline form cycled through several colors of confusion. "You want to stay here? In this corporate facility? Of course, I haven't paid traditional rent in 3 years. My pod's feng shui optimization videos cover the lease, my morning routine posts handle utilities, and my crypto mining pays for premium bandwidth. I'm living the dream." The Liberation team shared a collective moment of bewilderment through their neural link. Everything they thought they knew about human psychology, about freedom and exploitation, was being turned on its head. But what about your natural rights?" Krev attempted. "Your freedom to live without corporate oversight." The human snorted. "Freedom? I used to work 60 hours a week in a traditional office to afford a cramped apartment where I couldn't even film content properly. Now I work when I want, create what I want, and get paid to literally live my best life. Plus, have you tried the smoothie bar on level 3? The engagement metrics on breakfast bowl photos are insane." Before the team could respond, their neural links crackled with urgent information from the Stellar Liberator. "Captain," Naira's voice carried a note of shock. "I've completed the deep scan of the station's networks. This isn't an isolated incident. There are hundreds of these stations across human space. Millions of humans are competing to live like this. They're turning corporate space stations into content creation engines." Zextal stared at the human, who was now enthusiastically explaining something called passive income streams to their followers, while gesturing at the alien liberation team as if they were part of a planned entertainment segment. For the first time in their long career of fighting corporate exploitation, Zextal wondered if perhaps they weren't the ones who had been operating under a limited understanding of freedom. Cultural clash. Back aboard the Stellar Liberator, the Liberation team sat in stunned silence as they reviewed their mission footage. The command center's holographic displays showed scenes from throughout Station Delta 9. Humans exercising in virtual reality chambers, broadcasting their daily routines, trading digital assets, and genuinely thriving in what the team had assumed was a sophisticated prison. "I don't understand." Krev finally broke the silence, their chameleonic skin shifting through patterns of confusion. "They've turned corporate exploitation into entertainment." "Not just entertainment," Naira corrected, her feathers rippling as she analyzed the data streams. "They've created an entirely new economic ecosystem. The station isn't exploiting them. They're exploiting the station's resources to build their own microeconomies." Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with deep thought. "In all our years of liberation missions, we've never encountered anything like this. They're not just accepting their circumstances, they're actively reshaping them." The displays showed more footage, humans collaborating on projects, teaching each other new skills, and building complex networks of what they called passive income streams. Every aspect of their lives that should have been oppressive had been transformed into an opportunity. "Look at these statistics." Naira brought up another hologram. "Mental health indicators, life satisfaction metrics, personal growth measurements. They're all significantly higher than human averages in traditional living situations." "But they're still trapped," Krev insisted, though their voice carried a note of uncertainty. "Bound by contracts, confined to the station." "Are they?" Zextal challenged, surprising even themselves. "Our scans show no restrictions on their movement. They choose to stay. They compete to get in. Everything we thought we knew about freedom." Their discussion was interrupted by an incoming transmission. From Station Delta 9, the human they had encountered earlier appeared on the main screen, still broadcasting to their followers. "Hey, Liberation Team, hope you don't mind, but I mentioned our chat to station management. Here's the thing. They're actually interested in talking. Apparently, there are other species out there who might benefit from our unique approach to corporate symbiosis." Their words, not mine. "Would you be interested in a collaboration?" The team exchanged glances. This was unprecedented. Their mission had been to liberate humans from corporate control, but instead they were discovering that humans had found a way to liberate themselves, not by fighting the system, but by transforming it from within. "Captain," Naira spoke carefully, "our mission parameters didn't account for this possibility. What do we do when the supposed victims don't want to be saved? When they've turned their prison into a paradise?" Zextal stood, their crystalline form catching the light from the holographic displays. "Perhaps," they said slowly, "it's time we reconsidered our understanding of liberation. The humans haven't just adapted to their environment. They've transcended it. They've shown us that freedom isn't just about breaking chains. It's about choosing your own chains," the human on the screen interjected cheerfully, "and monetizing them. Speaking of which, your crystalline structure would make for amazing ASMR content." "Just saying." Krev's security training warred with their growing fascination. "This goes against everything we'd fought for, everything we believed about corporate exploitation." "Does it?" Zextal challenged. "Our mission has always been to fight for the right of species to choose their own path. We just never imagined that path might lead here." The human's voice came through again. "So about that collaboration, I'm thinking Alien Liberation Team learns about influencer life could be a killer series. Educational, cross-cultural, prime content." Resolution. 6 months after the failed liberation mission to Station Delta 9, Captain Zextal stood before the Galactic Liberation Front's High Council, their crystalline form steady as they delivered their final report. In conclusion, they stated, I recommend a complete reassessment of our approach to human-corporate relationships. What we witnessed wasn't exploitation. It was symbiosis of a kind we've never seen before. The council chamber erupted in murmurs. On the massive display behind Zextal, footage played from what had become known as the Alien Liberation Team Goes Viral series, a surprisingly successful collaboration that had brought unprecedented attention to both human and alien cultures. The humans haven't just adapted to corporate structures. Naira added from her position beside the captain, her feathers gleaming under the chamber's lights. They'd fundamentally transformed them. Station Delta 9 has become a model for a new kind of living space, one that's being replicated across multiple species now. The footage showed scenes from the newest stations, Vraxian philosophers hosting meditation live streams, Centaurian artists collaborating with human content creators, even some younger members of Zextal's own crystalline species experimenting with what humans called aesthetic minimalism. But the corporations still profit. One council member objected. The humans still pay excessive rates for basic necessities. With respect, Krev stepped forward, their chainaleonic skin rippling with conviction. We've learned that basic necessities mean something very different to humans. They don't just seek survival or comfort. They seek opportunities for growth, for creativity, for connection. The display showed new footage, the original human they'd met, now hosting workshops on interstellar influence, building your brand across the galaxy. Their pod, once seen by the Liberation Team as a cell, had become a hub for cross-species cultural exchange. The station's waiting list has grown to include members of 12 different species, Naira reported. They're not seeking escape from corporate control. They're seeking to learn the human art of turning constraints into opportunities. And the humans? Another council member pressed. Are they truly free? Zextal's crystalline form shimmered with what had become amusement. They've redefined freedom in ways we never imagined. They don't measure it in terms of independence from systems, but in their ability to bend those systems to their will. Their creativity, their adaptability, their relentless optimism. These are forms of freedom we never considered. The council chambers filled with holographic displays showing the latest statistics, mental health improvements, cross-species collaboration indices, economic innovation metrics. The evidence was undeniable. What had begun as a mission to liberate humans had instead liberated countless minds from limited perspectives on freedom itself. Therefore, Zextal concluded, I propose a new division within the Galactic Liberation Front. Not to free humans from corporate structures, but to learn from them. To understand how they transform limitations into launching pads, how they turn social capital into real power, how they find freedom not in the absence of constraints, but in the mastery of them. And the humans' response to this proposal? The council head inquired. Zextal activated one final recording. The human appeared, now sporting a shirt reading Intergalactic Influencer Academy, first cohort. Listen, they said, grinning, you guys tried to save us from capitalism, and instead, we're teaching the galaxy how to make capitalism work for them. If that's not the most human thing ever, I don't know what is. Also, this whole story has been amazing for my engagement metrics. When's the next liberation mission? My followers are asking for a sequel. The council chamber filled with what passed for laughter among various species. The Liberation Team had failed in their original mission, but they'd succeeded in discovering something far more valuable, a new understanding of freedom itself, taught by the species they'd thought needed saving. In the end, it wasn't about escaping the system. It was about mastering it, transforming it, and maybe making some quality content along the way. And somewhere on Station Delta 9, a Vraxian philosopher was explaining Stoicism to their millions of followers, while a Centaurian artist designed their merchandise line, and humans continued to do what they did best: adapt, create, and somehow turn it all into content worth consuming. The end.